Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our post-match press conference following our game against Kerala Blasters. With me is head coach Des Buckingham. Please introduce yourself before your question. Floor is open.
Hello, coach. Great win today. Second character sports coach. Great win today. Is it like right now in the dressing room? Is it like a done deal that playoffs are done and we are in the top two? What's the feeling like in the dressing room right now?
The feeling in the dressing room is one of focus and professionalism. We've got 7 more games we need to play. We have a very important game next week now against ATK Mumbai away. And we know that we need to come away with more performances. And if we can come away with more performances like I've just seen certainly in the first half tonight, that was a pleasure to watch. The first 30 minutes of that game for us, there was some really good football. I thought we played extremely well. The mood in the group, it's as it always is regardless of the result. It's making sure that we stay consistent to our behaviours and try and stay as consistent as we can to our performances.
So coach, is going unbeaten this season a goal of the team right now?
It's not anything that's been spoken about. It's not a goal of mine. It's not a goal of the teams. The goal of us now turns to ATK Mumbai. Like I said, every team that we play, same as when we were last year as the reigning champions, every team comes and comes with a different game plan and makes it difficult for us to try and stop us and wants to beat us the same way we do when we go there. So we won't lose sight of that. We just need to make sure we rest, recover, and make sure we prepare as well as we can for what will be another tough game.
One last question. So after the first 25 minutes, 4 goals up, what happened in the next 65 minutes?
The first 30 minutes, like I just said on the TV, was some of the best football I've seen us play. It's 2 things. It's very difficult. You come out and score 4 goals in that space of time. The football never continues in that fashion, And the second is about now managing the game, and that was something we spoke about at half time. We had a slightly different challenge last week when the scoreline was 1-1. Now it was about how consistent could we be? So we speak about our behaviours and our standards. How well could we continue now to manage this game and manage it as well as we could? And that was what I was pleased with second half. Not only did the team manage the game, we still created opportunities, and we also managed to get a lot of minutes into a lot of the other players.
Hi coach, Swaraj here from Hirwasi. Jorge Diaz has already matched his record of 8 goals from last year. So what are your views on it?
Jorge has been very good for us so far, but he's surrounded by some wonderful players as well. I think Bipin, Chante, Aguero, Greg, Vikram, to name a few. Obviously Apoya joined in with Vinit. But the good thing is in the Durand Cup we had the opportunity to experiment with him, without him, and that's going to be important to us as we move forwards. But I'm extremely pleased with his contribution, tonight, especially with the goals that he scored. And the other thing that I don't think people see on the TV necessarily is the work rate that he offers us, not just when we have the ball, but certainly when we don't have the ball. And he sets the tone very much for how we want to do things without the ball.
Another question. Last season the Blasters did a double over you. This season is the opposite. So how would you compare both the teams? Like since both the teams have come far this season, so how would you explain that?
Yeah, last season's done and dusted. Everything's changed from last year. This year, we purposely went around making sure that we've had more time with these players to try and play a certain way, and we're starting to now see more consistent performances because of that, and different ways of playing, which I'm very pleased with. And they're a good team. I said it before. They are an extremely good team. They've got a wonderful coach with Ivan, and they'll still challenge at the end of the season. I've no doubt about that. To come and get a result of any sort against these once, but certainly twice, that's credit to the playing group. But again, we must now make sure we continue.
Thank you.
Presentation of the win, coach. This is from here now. Coach, what's the update on Greg's knock? I find he tough knock. So, how long is he going to be out for? Or do you expect him to be back soon?
Greg's fine. Greg's okay. No, Greg's okay. He just took a kick on his foot, but he's fine. He took a little kick on it yesterday in training, so it's just a little bit sore. And so when obviously 4-0 up, we don't want to put him at risk, and so it's a case of managing him. We could have waited until half time, but he's a player that's on 3 bookings, and if he'd have picked up another one, we'd have lost him for next week. So that's the reason we got him off as quickly as we did. 1, to manage him, and 2, to make sure we had him available for next week, but he'll be fine.
Also, coach, seemingly the haircut both, right, as a good luck charm today. So, when you guys started the game, it seemed like you guys had at least 20 minutes extra for warm-up. So, how would you explain that? Like, was it just a mental edge that you gave your team at the start of the game, or was it something else?
How do you mean, sorry, 20 minutes?
Like, seemingly like you guys had a 20-minute extra warm-up. Like, that's how good you were playing.
Okay.
First 20 minutes, right? So.
Okay. No, I think sometimes you have to wait until until the 94th minute to maybe get an opportunity. What we did is we started, I thought, extremely well. Something that we've been trying to work on. And then I thought that the chances we created, we converted. And that was the difference tonight. We started extremely well. And it was the ruthlessness of those conversions to the chances that were created through 3 or 4 different means, which is obviously very important in any game. Goals decide games, and to get 4 before I think 25 or 30 minutes puts us in a very strong position to then see the game out the way we did.
Sir, this is Shivam from SSB. My question about, the defense has been so solid actually this time, and a clean sheet for Purva, 5th clean sheet in this tournament so far, and he's passed away, props to Gill, his opposition team. But how would you rate about the defense, Mehtab especially, and Rostin and other defenders?
Yeah, there was an area to our team last year where we conceded a lot of goals. And when you look at the league, the teams that have won it over the last 3-4 seasons, you concede too many goals, you're not going to win too many games, let alone finish towards the top of the table. And we conceded too many last year. The pleasing thing is, when you look at our backline right now, we've got Fuba, who's a young goalkeeper making his first breakout season, and is doing okay and doing well. Obviously Mehtab has come through, still another young Indian centre-back that's come through into that backline. Vignesh, that's played the last 2 games at left-back, still another young left-back. But they're surrounded with Mutada Fall, Rostin Griffiths and Raul Beque, who's moved into that right-back spot this year. And it's the consistency of them playing together, the time that they've spent training together, and the work that both is done on the training field by us and them together. And then them going out and performing the way they do on the field. And that's been pleasing to see, because it gives us the springboard to go on and get results sometimes. And to give you an example, the one that springs to my mind, there was a save that Fuba made at 0-0 last week, which I don't think gets talked about because we go on to win the game. But if he doesn't make that save at that time, that's so important to allowing us to go on. So the defence allows us to go on and get results, and then we've got some exciting players in the final third that are creating and scoring.
Coach, the dog interrupted the start of the play. So would you consider it as a lucky charm for the night's win?
I managed to grab him. I got him. I actually got him. So I got him. I went down onto all 4s and I grabbed him. And they come and took him away from me. And I thought that was it done. But he managed to escape them and get back out. So look, it's the second time this season so far, and we've won both games. So I'll have to have a chat with someone to see if we can keep getting him to come. Yeah, but no, I think he obviously got into the field, he was enjoying himself. I think he sat down for a stroke of his belly at one point. The most important thing was he was safely removed.
Thank you.
Coach, just a couple of questions to round up. Firstly, tonight's win marks 8 wins in a row, an all-time ISL record. Is this just another number for you, and how would you use this, if at all, to motivate the players to move on?
Yeah, the records are not something that we have spoken around. They're not something that are targets of ours. I think if you start looking at those things, you start chasing records, and it's not the records we're chasing, it's the performances. And we've got so many measures that we use internally to measure our performance, and we've got a way now that we work that if we can hit those measures more often than not and hold ourselves to those standards that we've set with them, we've shown that the results often come. They don't always come. That's the one thing I look at. It's nice to know that is happening. It's always a nice thing for people to talk about, but in terms of, for us, it's not something we talk about.
And just 5